Interesting. What I wanted to lead the show off with is always, I feel good when I know that we already have a super chat in here. Let me start like this. We already have a super chat into the show before the show even started at 6:48. It was Jackson Carney says, Blake, I'm depressed. No killer instinct, question mark. BK ain't it, question mark. We're a national punchline yet again. Talk me off the ledge. Because before this ever happened, I just tweeted out something very interesting because I've seen a lot of you say it today. Yes, a lot of you, you've been inside of YouTube chatting your little hearts away about BK ain't it. By the way, people over on Facebook, there's more comments and stuff going on Facebook about this team than anything. Trust me, one of our videos got like 300,000 views. People are going crazy over BK at the current moment. I tweeted this out earlier today. I don't know if you missed it. And yes, I'm going to say tweet from here on out. But I said, I've seen some of you, not many, say that this LSU football season is over. And it's not even remotely close to being over. Now, I'm not trying to compare LSU to Alabama when I said this, but Alabama lost to Texas last year in week 2. A year ago this week, Alabama lost to Texas. And look how bad that offense was. Look how bad that offense was in week 2 versus Texas. Now, that Texas team was, and I'll give Will Rucker, who quote tweeted it, that Texas team was better than that USC team that we saw on Sunday. Bama didn't lose the game until they made the playoff. After that, defense was really good. Yours was really good last week. Can this team get better is going to be the question. We'll talk about our do's and don'ts here tonight. A lot of things that a lot of things that I want to see that LSU needs to accomplish this week. So we'll get to that. Thank you so much. Starting off the show, Jackson Carney with a super chat. That's how you love to see it. Christian Booty says, if what I saw is the floor of this team on Sunday night, I feel really good on how the rest of the season is going to play out. I relatively agree with you. Cajun on YouTube says, Jackson literally said the same thing in Carter's chat not 20 minutes ago. Jackson Carney did? Well, didn't know that. Maybe it's a bot account, but if you're going to make a troll account and you're going to send us money, the joke's on you, bud. The joke's on you. Mike Offshore 1 on YouTube says, what is that boomer punter you told us about? I can kick it for 25 yards like this clown can. Blake Oschendorf didn't punt, if I'm not mistaken. Maybe once. Let's look at it right quick. LSU week 1. Let's see what Oschendorf did. I don't know why they put the other kid in. I'm going to be honest with you. I really, really, really don't. I really don't. I have no idea what was going on there. I might need to look at ESPN. Let's look at his – I don't know where the point yardage would be. I mean, look, man, I was not the only one talking about it. If you don't want to believe me, that's fine. I really could give a shit. I really could give a shit. But the people that were out there know. Let's look at this, the punting yards. I'm trying to find it. Punt. I don't see it anywhere. Oschendorf had 1 for 39. Hold on. Y'all going to talk to me about Blake Oschendorf? Blake Oschendorf had 1 punt for 39 yards that got downed at the 8. What the fuck are you talking about? Oh, man. You got to love it. Adam with a $10 super chat here says, since I can't donate my ACL to John Emery, I'll just do a super chat instead. Yeah, man. I talked to Wilson Alexander. Wilson Alexander broke the news today. I talked to Wilson. Look, man. you hate seeing the John Emery news. You hate seeing that John Emery tore his ACL yet again. Wilson Alexander on the story. This guy's been here for 6 years now. He's been here since 2019. And look, there's been a lot of ups and downs with John Emery. And we're going to talk about John Emery tonight and the effect that has on your running back room. It's a lot of look, that's a big thing that John Emery went down, ironically, after what he just did on Sunday. But, man, John Emery has had one of the wildest careers in LSU history. Let me ask y'all this. Outside of Matthew and maybe Cecil Collins, who has had a wilder run at LSU than John Emery? And, look, man, it affects your room. I'm really interested to see how this Trey Holly case gets panned out very quickly. Very quickly. Trey says on YouTube, may we wake up from this dream with a $1.99 super chat. Yeah, I mean, look, man, you still got a 12-team playoff. You got a lot to prove here. You have a lot to prove here. And, again, I'm like, does the loss suck? And have we talked about the loss a lot? Yes. But I still think that there's a reality in a world where USC is the third, fourth best team in the Big Ten, and they could possibly get in the playoff after what they showed. I mean, guys, I think you had two really good teams, if I'm just being real with you. Two teams that had a lot in common. You just were not on the receiving end. And here's the thing, man. I don't think it's remotely close that who the better team was. You can call me a homer. You can call me biased. It is what it is. USC fans are going to call me biased. Okay, maybe I see it in a different light. But LSU had a lot of opportunities to win the game. And if you don't think that they did, like I've seen some people in our media, of course, oh, the offense, oh, you know, this. You know, the defense has got to stop them there at the end. Bro, I'm sorry. Like, I can't get behind that, man. I just cannot get behind that. So we'll see. Where's everybody listening from tonight? You in the 337, the 225, the 504, the 985, the 318, 31 great. Where are you listening from tonight? MC says, why doesn't Bama have these type of games annually? Remember A&M game or the A&M game year one. They do. I mean, they're going to Camp Randall week 3. I mean, they literally played Texas last year in week 2, a year ago this week. I mean, they've had these big games. I mean, they've gone to a lot of neutral site games too, especially under Saban. They play them, man. They just normally play them in week 2. And listen, I haven't addressed this week, and I probably should have, and I should now. Brian Kelly was asked by somebody in the media this week in reference to, well, Coach, do you really want to keep playing these really tough games in week 1? Guys, you are not a program that is the hunted. You are the hunter. When you go in these game 1s, especially under Les, under Ed, yes, under Ed Orgeron, under Nick, you go into these big week 1 premier matchups, and you've been the hunter. You've been somebody who historically over the last 20 years, 2/3 of the season, you're going to be a top contender. Now, normally has LSU, what have they always done? They started off red hot, not saying Brian Kelly's, but historically you started off hot and you faded off strong. What's happened with BK? It's been the opposite. Excuse me. You started off slow, and then you pick it up throughout the season. Guys, I remind you, year 1, when you're an A&M game away from having a 10-win regular season. There's a lot that's going to go on in this season, man. It's not remotely close to being over. Let me just say this. Until you get to your 3rd loss, until that game happens, you're in it for the entire regular season when you have 2 losses. You're an SEC team, whether you like it or not. And if you have 2 losses with the schedule that you have, you're going to get in. You better get to that thought process very quickly. Very, very, very quickly. Anyway, Spectrum, what's up, man? Says Durham got to step up. I agree, brother. I agree. I 100% agree. 318 says David. Lake Chuck says 337, but that's Brandon. Good to have you in here. Tim Graves, our buddy from the 985, our classmate, says he's in the 704 Charlotte. What you doing up there, Tim? Charlotte in the building. Gotta love it, man. Gotta love it. AJ Bama. 205 Hoover's in the building as well. Good to have you in here with us. John, the 985 Morgan City. Good that you can be with us as well. A lot of people in the 337. All right. I knew the 337 had the best food. That's why y'all coming up in here. We agree on a lot. 318, better step it up, man. Better step it up. 337 up in this hoe. They do have the best food. Cody McGee with a $2 super chat says Paul Feinbaum asked him that question yesterday. What question, Cody? What question? Oh, are you talking about the do you play tough games? Yeah, I mean, come on, dude. Come on, man. Come on. If you want to be the best, you beat the best. Remember when we were making fun of USC for not wanting to play this game? Remember that? And we were all mocking them. Oh, they're scared. Lincoln Riley's scared. Well, Lincoln Riley just beat your ass. You are not the hunted. You are the hunter. You're the wolf that goes after the prey. You're the tiger, literally, that goes after the prey. That's what this place needs to be. I don't need to tell you, guys, you have everything in place, and there are some things behind the scenes that got to get better, and Jay Johnson seems to not have a problem. I keep reminding people of that. But there are some things behind the scenes that got to get better. But this program has the facilities, the infrastructure, the dominance, the in-state recruiting, that you should be a national player every year. Newsflash to every single one of you out here. Every single one of you. You fired Les Miles because he couldn't achieve those regular in-season 10-win seasons. That's what you fired him over. I think Louisiana people knew with Nick being here that you weren't going to be that contender like that every single year, that Nick was going to get some on you. You wanted that series to be closer. So did I. But this place can be something special if you put the effort and time and work into it. And if you don't, you're going to be mediocre. You're going to be mediocre. Screw that. We don't play tough opponents week 1. Screw that. We could lose. God, please don't let this happen. Please, sweet Jesus. Please don't let this happen. Knock on wood. You can lose 10 straight, and it's not going to change my mind. The perception of what you're going through right now is not the reality of what this place should be. Let me say that again. The perception that is out there about LSU right now is not the reality of what this place should be. You know, when we lose these week 1 games like this, I feel like the very next week, you know what I feel like my job has been all week, and it is starting right now tonight? It is talking you off the ledge. Funny, it's how we started the show off. Let's get to it. Everybody do us a favor. Hit the like and share. To you dudes on Facebook, man, y'all are going crazy with the show. Thank y'all so much. Y'all sharing it, and that's why we're growing on Facebook. Man, I think we got over 3 million total views on Facebook in the last 28 days. You guys are absolutely fantastic over there on Facebook. Do us a favor right now. Hit the like and share Share to all those social media pages. We greatly appreciate that. You're watching us, listening to us on YouTube. Man, I just ask one thing throughout the show. Hit that subscribe button. Hit that notification bell. We post a lot of content on there. We greatly appreciate it if you do that. Wherever you listen to podcasts, you guys in the 318 continue to dominate the state of Louisiana on that audio podcast. We appreciate it. Do us a favor if you hadn't done so. Leave us a 5-star review. We greatly appreciate it on that Apple podcast. Let's get to our good sponsors. Want to give a quick shout out too to our good friends over at The Athletic Collection. The Athletic Collection. They are back with us through football season. Go to their website for all of the essential Tiger gear. Shop-tac.com. That's shop-tac.com. Did y'all see them hoodies? Did y'all see them LSU hoodies? Hey, man, it's going to be getting bonfire season in a little while. Get them now while you can. Let them know that Blake sent you. All right, we're back next. Stay with us. BetOnline is the fastest and easiest way for you to wager on all of your favorite sports, contests, events with the first-to-market odds and lines. Find reviews for all the news for each league, including Major League Baseball, NFL, NBA, NHL, combat sports, college sports, esports, and even golf. BetOnline continues to be the top online resource for all of your sports information for live in-game betting, props, and futures. Head on over to BetOnline today and use your mobile device to join and make your first sports bet. Use our promo code BELIEVE50, that's BELIEVE50, BLEAV 50, to receive your 50% off welcome bonus on your first deposit. That's betonline.ag, betonline.ag.
He will sell your house and find you a new. Well, Tyler's the man, he's here for you. If you want to buy or sell, well, it's not too late. Dial 955-0008. Just call 955-0008. Y'all call Tyler, he'll shoot you straight.
Louisiana is unique. The food, the festivals, even the bugs. No, not mud bugs. Unwanted bugs like these. The ones you don't want crawling in your home or business. Trust the Shield from J&J Exterminating. We've been protecting Louisiana homes for over 50 years, earning the trust of our clients because we deliver what we promise. Protect your home from pests. Get the Shield from J&J Exterminating.
J&J Exterminating. Yeah.
J&J has protected Louisiana homes and businesses for over 60 years.
Call him today, make the pests go away. J&J Exterminating. Yeah.
All right. Let's get this thing rolling. We will be going around your SEC. I wanted to do that yesterday, but as always, the time with Carter feels so short, and we had so many things that we got to get into with him that we kind of just don't ever get through any other topics, but we're going to get through around your SEC tonight too. So listen, I told you last week, every week you and I are going to be doing these things that LSU needs to do during the week, things that they don't need to be doing during the week, things that you want to just completely walk away from if you're the LSU football team. Tonight, I got to tell you, there's only a couple of don'ts, like things I don't want to see from LSU football this week, because look, I think you and I pretty much understand and feel and think and know when you play an FCS opponent like this, the strong likelihood is that you are not going to be in a tight game with them. Now, not saying it's not possible, not saying it can't be close. Things happen every single week. Things have happened before where FCS opponents have knocked off big Power 5 opponents or Power 4 opponents. I mean, we always remember the App State-Michigan game, even though that rarely ever happens. But there's just not a lot of things I don't want to see. Let me tell you some that I don't, though. There's only two. Number one, show me that you are going to be more diverse in the running game. Stop running all that inside zone. Now, you ran some counter last week, but everything that you pretty much ran, like 95% of the things that you ran last week from the running game was in the inside. You can't do that. You have to be very diverse when you have two premier offensive tackles. Now, did Emery Jones have a rough game at times last week? Yes. Does he need to get some things rolling? Yes. But if you have a third down, why aren't you scheming up, running right behind Will Campbell? Because Will didn't have a bad game at all. At all. So I look at him and I look and say to myself, look, this is a game and an opportunity to where you can be very diverse. Guys, I don't mind experimenting with some things early. And I know that seems and feels like that I am downing an opponent, and I shouldn't be doing that. You're right, I shouldn't. But if things start getting hairy in the second quarter, okay, stop playing around, get after it. You know, last week you did a motion where Xavier Thomas came in the backfield and ran the ball for 5 yards. I kind of want to see more of that creativity. I really, really, really do want to see some more of that creativity. So, excuse me. So, you got to be more diverse in the running game so that you're able to attack. Number two, the only other don't that I don't want to see this week, like that's vastly, I don't think that this is even a remote possibility that it's going to happen. Continue to be aggressive and do the things that you want to do on defense. Right? Like, continue to be that attacking style of defense that you showed last week. Because if you do that and you make that the basis of who you are and what you want to be, I'm completely fine with that. I just don't have a lot of don'ts. Now, I could come in here and say, don't take this team lightly. Don't come in here and say, oh, we're just going to run through them. And then we're struggling midway through the second quarter. Like, those are all things that can be very true. Very true. I just don't see a world where that's going to happen. It's not because I'm a Southeastern alum that I think Nichols is going to get their shit pushed in. Maybe that has something to do with it. I just don't see a world where you can't not continue to be aggressive. Guys, I hate the thought process. I hate the logic from coaches who say, look, we don't want to show anything. We don't want to put anything on film. Guys, the more things that you put on film, the more they have to prepare for, especially when you do it from the same looks and the same personnel and the same packages. If on defense, you run 10 plays out of the same personnel and it's very diverse, and then next week you continue to do other things based off of your defense, it makes the other coaches' jobs that much more difficult. I know a lot of you that know coaches out there. Maybe some of you can just text a coach right now. Ask them what the most difficult thing for them to game plan for is. Diversity. I think Blake Baker's going to do that. Here's some of the dues that we got to see. Like, these are the non-negotiables that we have to see. We have a lot. We have 6. The first thing I want to see is shots down the field from Garrett Nussmeier. Look, all offseason, you and I had discussions about Nussmeier and being a little bit more conservative. What I never expected in a million years was that last week that he would get hamstrung that much that you pulled the reins back from him as much as you did. Now, LSU's probably going to do what we're talking about here, and they're going to replicate what happened last year from week 1 to week 2. Brian Kelly and Joe Sloan are going to come out. They're going to take shots. They're going to get some playmakers in space. They're going to get Kyron Lacey the football a lot. And hopefully, in an ironic way, you hope that Kyron Lacey gets into the third quarter, because can you show that you can make that halftime adjustment? What about C.J. Daniels that needs to get some action and some love here? Take those shots downfield. I don't care if you complete them or don't complete them, because I think it's way too early in the season to be worried about that at this exact moment. take shots downfield. Show teams that you can be aggressive and get the ball vertical. Number 2, dominate the lesser opponent. You know, it's ironic. Last week, a lot of these big-time programs, Michigan, yeah, I know they only gave up 10 points. It is what it is. Texas, a lot of these opponents that played these lower teams, a lot of them were dominating. Right? Like, they dominated their opponent. Texas shutting out Colorado State last weekend is a big thing that I look at. Guys, I'm not saying you got to shut them out, but let's not let the first half of Grambling happen again. Remember how in the beginning of the Grambling game, you're like, what is going on? I want to see a dominant performance. I know it's Nichols, and I know you're going to call me crazy, and I know that it's probably possible that that's going to happen. But I really want you to get after their ass. Because what do competitors want to do? When you have something bad in sports, you know, it's like a guy that's going through a slump in baseball. He just wants to get that one hit to get that bad taste out of his mouth. Pause. Go out there and dominate them. Break their will. And I get it's Nichols, and they're here to collect a check and make money for their program. Guys, Nichols isn't coming in here to lose either. A lot of those guys over there have dreamed of coming out through a tunnel in Death Valley, and they're going to come out swinging. I hope that our guys can show that they have resolve and focus and don't take this game lightly at all. Excuse me. I'm kind of coming down with a little bit of a cold here, so I'm sorry. I apologize. Kids going back to school, man. You always know you're going to get a little sick in there. Number 3. I want you to mix up the secondary. This is a non-negotiable for me. In a game like this, I want you to go out there in the secondary defensively, move Sage back to safety. You know, move Major Burns out. Get Juwan Johnson in there at the star. Get Harold Perkins out there at the star and see what happens on a couple of plays. He actually did that, ironically. If you go back and watch the film, he was actually in that position a couple times. Blake Baker. Remember it was the first drive that USC had, and Blake Baker sent Harold Perkins off the edge, and he tackled, I think it was both Woody Marks and Miller Moss. Remember that it was the first drive of the game. I do think that they're going to mix some things up, and I think you're going to see some different things at corner. And I think you need to remember me saying this. Jordan Gilbert's going to be out for the first half because of the targeting. And I think what's going to be more interesting is that BK, when he talked about his defense this week, what did he say? He said, I think we played it good in every area besides one. And Wilson Alexander asked him where, and he said safety. Well, you have one safety out. And I'm starting to question a little if you're not going to mix a couple of more things up. I think that they want Sage Ryan on the football field. I do. Whether that's going to be at safety, whether it's going to be at the star, I don't know what they're going to do. But I do think that they're going to get a lot of young guys in early, and they're going to rotate a lot of guys to see what they have there. And don't be surprised if you see some young guys early. And I'm talking about with the first unit. So keep your eyes out for that. But I think that that's going to be a do too. Number 4, I want you to force feed Caleb Jackson the football. Look, I know that you do not want to get I know you don't want to get a premier running back hurt in a game like this when you just had another one hurt in John Emery. I really want to see Caleb Jackson start getting loose and involved in this running game. Here's the thing. I know that your running back rotation last week, I understand what Frank Wilson was trying to do. He was trying to ease Caleb into the game, okay, and that let John and let Josh, kind of the seniors and veterans, get some things moving, get the jitters out a little bit, and then let Caleb Jackson get moving. They got away from it. They got away from him. And I think he is the most dynamic right now. He is the most dynamic guy in that room. You got to give Caden Durham and him some touches. I'm not saying sit Josh Williams at all. It's not what I'm saying. But I think that if you're going to run the football, it's going to need to be with 28 and 29. Let me get to this too, since we're on the point. So John Emery tore his ACL yesterday. And Wilson Alexander reported that, it happened at practice. And, some things that I had heard, it was a non-contact injury. It was on the other knee. There were some questions like maybe was he putting too much strain on that knee? I don't know, man. Like, that's so difficult. You can never predict those types of things, especially at running back. Guys, you have 3 scholarship running backs right now. And I got to tell you, I am worried about that. I think that, ironically, the John Emery news going down is bigger than people understand. Because God forbid, like, what if Caleb Jackson gets a little banged up in this game and you go into a game with Josh Williams and Caden Durham? What if Josh Williams gets nicked up in this game? And God forbid you got 2 scholarship running backs going in on their first real away game, road game, that they will be a feature of this. I'm worried about what's at running back, because running back is not a position that has a long shelf life, right? Injuries are going to happen in that position. It's just like it's inevitable that guys throughout the season are going to get banged up, and that's why you need deep running back rooms. You had one last year. Like, if anything else happened, you at least knew that Noah Cain, who had double-digit touchdowns in 22, talking about last year, going back from 22, like, Noah Cain can come in and be serviceable. And he was. I mean, man came in against Florida, caught a touchdown pass from Jaden Daniels. I'm worried about the inexperience outside of Josh Williams in that room. And I know that some of you are going to be upset that they continue to throw Josh out there, but they're going to have to in certain situations. Where's the Trey Holly case? And I don't know what Trey Holly's been doing. I don't know if he's been staying conditioned. I don't know if he's been working out. I have no idea what's been going on with Trey Holly. That case is going in front of a judge this month. Guys, you need Trey Holly for depth alone. They might have some good walk-on running backs in that room. You can't rely on that, because the likelihood that any of those guys can play and be serviceable in the SEC is not high. It really, really isn't. So even though I want Caleb Jackson to really be featured here this week, I'm also terrified of doing that, because you got South Carolina next week. And listen, South Carolina is a team that is, how do I want to say this? I think they might be Rudy Poo. I think South Carolina might be ass. I think Kentucky's going to whip their ass this week. Go Big Blue. That's a hostile place to play, man. I get it's at 11 a.m. I know it's hostile. I just talked myself out of my own things that you got to do. I don't know what you do there, man. I really don't. I don't know what their backup plan is at the current moment. We'll see. We'll see. We got to 5 and 6 on that one. So here's the last one that I'll get to. Number 6. 5, force it. 6, depth. What are you going to do there? Number 6. Put something on film of Garrett Nussmeier running the football. Guys, I swear to God, the first play from scrimmage for me would be a zone read and make Garrett Nussmeier pull it and run and get down. Don't take a hit. I don't want him getting hit. Let me tell you why. USC staff came out this week in some press conferences. I don't know if y'all saw this. And they basically said that they had zero fear that Garrett Nussmeier would ever pull any of these zone reads or RPOs and run with it. And they sold out in the running game. And if they had to live with Garrett Nussmeier breaking a 10-yard run on them, they would have been like, all right, whatever. You need to put on film that Garrett's not going to be a lame duck that can't be athletic and run the football. Brian Kelly was asked today on the SEC teleconference about this. Mike Scarborough asked him, are you going to get Garrett's legs involved here? And I think that that's something that's very interesting because they had to have told Garrett to not run the football. And I think the reason that they are doing that is because they don't trust either one of Ricky Collins or AJ Swan. They don't. You got to put something on film that he can pull the rock and get you 5 yards and get down. That you still got to play disciplined football. Because if you don't play disciplined football, look, we'll get this. Thank you for the free 7 yards. Thank you for those free 7 yards that you just gave us. It's time to rebound, man. Look, I think that this game is more important for the coaching staff than it is the players. Somebody asked a comment in here, and I missed it. But no, MC asked this. Is all 6 of your comments or all 6 of your points, do they equal things that you want to see done by the coaching staff? Yes. Everything that LSU needs to accomplish this week, for me, boils down to the coaching staff. How can they make the adjustments that they really need to make? Because I'm going to tell you something, man. The more I've watched this USA game 3 times, and I know I'm a psychopath for doing it because it hurts even worse every time I watch it. I think you left so much on the field because of coaching. So much. And I'm not talking about defense. Some of it on defense, yes. But I expect some of those things from Lincoln Riley. I mean, guys, didn't they score 28 points against that 2019 team too? Like, that defense didn't stink either. You forget how Lincoln is when he calls plays sometimes. He will light you up given the opportunity. He's a great play caller, guys. You know, it's funny. And just saying that, it reminded me. Go to any Ruffino and Joe show. So me and my co-host Joe, we do the National College Football Show. If this is the first time that you've ever watched us, we talked about USC a lot this offseason, like a ton. And I kept warning Joe, like, listen, man, do not sleep on Lincoln Riley, as most are doing in the national media, of how he's a play caller. I really believe last year that Caleb Williams got too much out of the system and it killed him, and Lincoln didn't know how to reel in Caleb Williams, if he's even a player that you can reel in. I don't know, man. I don't know. All right. Damn. 41 minutes into the show already. I literally feel like we just started this. We can get to a couple comments. Let's see here. I'll go to we'll start at the bottom. Fire in some questions if you got some before we get to around your SEC here in just a moment. Bullfrog says, I think Blake Baker is going to get the best of Lane Kiffin. Here's what I'm going to say. We got so many weeks until that happens. Like, beat Nichols in South Carolina. Beat them. Beat those two, and then we'll start talking about that. Let's get through these next couple of weeks. A lot of things that you can do to make yourself a better football team going into that one. Here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to try to break a streak, because every time we go into these high-profile games, I give LSU too much credit. In my game prediction, to break a streak, and hopefully I want to be wrong. That I hope LSU wins. I want LSU to beat Ole Miss. I'm going to take Ole Miss. Let me tell you why I'm going to take Ole Miss. Show me. Show me. Let me break my own streak. You know, normally I come out here and I pick LSU to win every game. And is it homerish of me? Yeah, it is. It really is. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take Ole Miss right now. And in these next couple of weeks, I have the right in the next month to change my mind here. Like, I can change my mind in the next month. Guys, you have no business losing any other game before you get to Ole Miss. October 12th, if it goes the way that we think it's going to go, there's no bigger game in the BK era than October the 12th. None. Zero, zilch, nada. There hadn't been one. Ironically, the most two high-profile games he went in, meaning Brian Kelly's been against Ole Miss. That's ironic. Let's break a streak here. I hope that I can come in here and say that I'm wrong. This is what I'll say about Lane Kiffin. Don't play around with him. Don't play around with him. I know he's a troll. He is what he is. Don't play around with him. All right. Cody McGee with a $10 super chat says Brian Kelly needs to have on his play sheet that mother if rip like on the Netflix series Swamp Keys. Garrett needs to let it rip. Yeah, so Cody, I think they're going to let Garrett rip it this week. I fully expect that they're going to let him take some shots and be more of himself. I think they're going to let Joe open it up. They got to. The guys, they have to. Like, they have to. They don't have a choice. Bullfrog also says we held USC to 69 rushing yards. What a sexual position there. Do that against Ole Miss. See, you can't use transitive properties like that, Bullfrog. You can't do that. Transitive properties don't work in this game. That's how what do I mean by transitive properties? You can't say because you held USC to this, you can hold Ole Miss to this. It's not going to work like that. Jackson Dart at the current moment is a more experienced, probably better quarterback than Miller Moss. At least so we think. Stephen Young says Nuss can't run like Jaden, but he can damn sure run like Burrow. Guys, I can't tell you how crucial it is that Garrett shows any kind of want to in pulling the ball and running with it. He's got to do that. He has to do that. Must do that. Because South Carolina's defensive line next week, guys, their D-line is really good. And you know what? You know what's really going to be really interesting to me? I think that Kentucky, and we're going to talk about this in just a moment when we go around your SEC. I really, 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 really believe that Kentucky's going to beat South Carolina this week. And when that happens, Shane Beamer is coaching for his job. And what I always say this no matter where I'm at, a coach or a team that is like a dog or a pit bull backed in the corner, USC Lincoln Riley, when they are backed off into a corner, and especially when you got to go up there at 11 a.m., I don't like it. I hate it. I hate it. Do I think you're going to win? Yeah, I do think you're going to win. You have no business losing to South Carolina. If you lose to South Carolina, pitchforks need to start coming out. Guys, they're that bad. They have the potential to be that bad. Yeah. Blake Morgan on Facebook says we play too conservative. I agree. Mike Broussard says Kelly is 34-35 versus top 25 opponents. Mike, I'm not questioning you on this. I'm just asking, is that factual? Is that factual? I've just never seen that before. Can somebody Bean count that one for me? Can we make sure that that's right? If that is true, that's not good. If it isn't true, I mean, guys, they beat a lot of ranked opponents when he was at Notre Dame too. Now, it just doesn't feel right. You know what I mean? Maybe it's true. I mean, maybe it is. What's his record against ranked opponents at LSU? See, he beat Bama, Missouri. I don't know. I can't remember any other ones. Stephen Fry says Burrow can move better than it may look. Oh, yeah, he can. He can. Look, Nuss played very good. And like I said last night that I thought he had a B. Like I gave his grade a B. I don't like this B+, B-, A+, A-. I don't like that. A, B, C, or D. I think he had a B performance. I just think that there's some throws that he's got to get back. I think there's some throws that he's got to accomplish. Guys, he had C.J. Daniels wide open in the end zone that could have won you the football game. I'm not joking about that. On that dig route, I mean, guys, it's 24-13 at that point. By the way, if he hits that, the defense gets the other stop. That's the turnover on downs that Lincoln and them had, that Savion Jones batted the ball in the air. So God forbid if you got a field goal, guys, that's 27 points. You would have had 27 total points if you could have gotten a field goal and he would have hit C.J. Daniels on that dig route. I mean, those are the things that I look at. Do I think he played bad? Hell no. He does have to. This isn't that the part of Garrett pulling and running with the football. Because that's not me getting on Garrett. See, what you hear is you hear, oh, Garrett's got to run the football. You hear that I'm getting on Garrett. That's not what's true. What's true is that I think he was told not to do that. And I said that earlier, that I thought he was told not to do that. That's literally how we let off the do's and don'ts. They played too conservative with him. We talked all season about being less conservative or more conservative with Nuss, that you were too goddamn conservative. You went full Rand Paul on them some bitches. Is Rand Paul conservative? I swear to God, I don't know. Is Rand Paul conservative? Somebody give me a yes or no in the chat. I don't know. I don't know if that's even true or not. But if it felt right, you know what I mean? Like it felt right. Couple more, then we'll go around, get to a break in around your SEC. Stephen Young says, I saw that Nuss escape a UGA pass pass rush in 2022 and that had him dead to rights. No doubt. Burrow did that too. Okay. See. I knew I would get something political wrong. Cuddy McGee says, I just Googled it. He's 35-35 all-time record versus top 25 opponents. And then Trey says he's 3 of 6 top 25 versus LSU. Oh, okay. Ed Orgeron. What was Ed Orgeron after 2019? Y'all remember that? They kept using that stat that Ed was really good against ranked opponents. Remember that? What if it's the opposite that happens here? What if BK starts off slow, but then ends on ends his LSU career on a high? That's what I really hope happens. More because I just love this place. All right, I shouldn't have asked the political questions. I knew better. I freaking knew better. All right, let me do this. Let me get to a quick break. We'll come right back. We'll go around your SEC to wrap all this up. Stay with us. Guys, I want to talk to you about our good friends over the Drake Williams Law Firm and Drake Title Company. Are you facing tough times due to an injury from a car accident, navigating the complexities of divorce, or purchasing a new home? At the Drake Williams Law Firm and Drake Title Company, they understand the challenges you're going through, and they are here to help. The lawyer team of Ernie Drake III, Ryan J. Williams, and Summer Vignair, along with Morgan Daniels, have the experience and proven track record to give you that peace of mind. Give them a call today at 985-386-7600. That's 7,600 to schedule a free consultation at their brand new office located in historic downtown Ponchatoula. They're also doing a special, the AYS special. If you're refinancing or closing on a home in Southeast Louisiana, request the Drake Title Company to handle your closing. If you mention Blake Ruffino and AYS, you're going to receive a $400 discount on title fees. Again, give them a call at 985-386-7600. Let them know that Blake Ruffino sent you on by. Guys, you might know my good friend Carol Falls and all the great service that he provides over at State Farm. He is your good neighbor after all. But did you know State Farm has surprisingly great rates as well? Along with the great neighbor service, State Farm agent Carol Falls has surprisingly great rates for everyone inside the state of Louisiana. So call him today at 985-395-4300, 985-395-4300 for all of those surprisingly great rates on auto, home, and life insurance needs. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there, and individual premiums will vary by customer. All applicants subject to the State Farm underwriting requirements.
Louisiana is unique. The food, the festivals, even the bugs. No, not mud bugs. Unwanted bugs like these. The ones you don't want crawling in your home or business. Trust the Shield from J&J Exterminating. We've been protecting Louisiana homes for over 50 years, earning the trust of our clients because we deliver what we promise. Protect your home from pests. Get the Shield from J&J Exterminating.
J&J Exterminating. Yeah.
J&J has protected Louisiana homes and businesses for over 60 years.
Call him today, make the pests go away. J&J Exterminating. Yeah.
So, I just got a very interesting text. Like I said in the beginning of the show, don't be surprised if you see some DB shakeup. All I'm going to say. All right, let's go around your SEC really quickly. 4 premier matchups this week, in my opinion, even though on Twitter, if you've been watching this, the South Florida Barstool account, whatever college kid is running that account, bravo, good sir. It's not that whoever's running that account is just trolling Alabama. This man's going after everybody. The creative content that this guy over at South Florida is doing for Barstool, chef's kiss, man. Good for you. Good for you. With a creative mind like that, you're going to be pretty good in this game. But there are 4 premier matchups in the SEC this week. Let's start off with Texas and Michigan. Guys, I really don't know if Michigan has enough offense to beat Texas. I know that Michigan's defense is really elite. Will Johnson, they got Mason Graham on the inside. They can do a lot of special things there. I just don't know how they're going to score either. And you know what they kind of remind me of? LSU fans, you're going to know this way too much. They remind me of a Les Miles team. They really do. They're trying to run 2 quarterbacks out there. They don't really specifically know who the guy's going to be. They started a walk-on because he's the only guy that can really throw a vertical pass. I just don't know if I can see Texas losing this one. I think it's going to be close to a field goal to 5-point game here. That's where I would put it if I was putting the line at it. But anything over a touchdown, I think it's take Michigan in the points. I think that defense in Michigan is just too good. I think this is going to be one of the best games that we've seen in quite some time. So you're going to be needing to look out for it and watching it. Arkansas goes to Stillwater and takes on Oklahoma State. A lot of people are high on Arkansas right now because Bobby Petrino led 10 straight scoring drives for Sam Pittman and the boys this past Saturday. Oklahoma State competed for a Big 12 title last year and returned damn near everybody. I need to see Arkansas go up to Stillwater and win. I don't think that they can do it. Actually, I feel pretty strongly that I think that they cannot do it. But there's something to be said, even though it's against Arkansas Pine Bluff, that Taylon Green was able to lead this team and this offense was able to have with Singleton at quarterback as well. 10 drives, 10 touchdowns. That is highly impressive regardless of who you're playing, but Arkansas Pine Bluff is really bad. I think that they can make a statement in this game, but I'm going to Oklahoma State. As much as, you know, if you're an SEC fan or SEC homer, whatever you love, and you love cheering on the SEC, I just can't see Arkansas winning this game. I'm going to go Oklahoma State, and a lot of it's got to do with that game being in Stillwater. Kentucky versus South Carolina. It's funny because LSU's next opponent is South Carolina, and last week South Carolina got in a dogfight. And what does logic tell us about college football? Logic tells us, hey, don't be shocked if South Carolina and Kentucky are in a dogfight this week, even though South Carolina looked like dog shit last week. I think Kentucky is one of the biggest sleepers in the SEC in reference to talent. What they do with that is up to them. Can they hold on? Can they win? I don't know that, but I'm going to take Kentucky. Give me Kentucky and the points. I think that you're facing next week a wounded animal in South Carolina, so we'll see. Last but not least, Tennessee versus NC State. I'm going to predict the future right quick. You ready? Watch this. When Tennessee beats NC State this week, the national media, after seeing the Tennessee offense and Nico Iamaleava, or however you say it, they're going to start comparing this Tennessee offense to the 2019 LSU offense with Joe Burrow, Jamar Chase, Justin Jefferson in the game. That's going to start happening here soon with Tennessee. They're going to score a lot of points on Saturday. And I am warning all of you LSU fans, the national media is going to start putting labels on that offense. Is it played out? Yeah, it's played out. I think they're really good, man. I think that offense is really good. I do think they're going to beat the dog water out of NC State. And I think Nico's a dude. I really, really, really think Nico is a dude. So those are my picks for the SEC this week. And look, early season matchups. DJ Lagway, by the way, is starting for Florida. That's going to be interesting in and of itself. Now, Florida plays Samford this week, I think. Graham Mertz is out with a concussion. I think things are getting dire in Gainesville. And let me say this too. I am monitoring every move that's happening in Gainesville. It's kind of like my side project, if I'm being honest. I know a lot about Florida at the current moment because I really think that there are people at Florida behind the scenes that are so pissed off, big money people that are so pissed off about Scott Strickland, their AD, and this Billy Napier thing. They want to put a statement out there. I'm telling you, don't let this Gainesville, this Gator team, don't let that administration hire the right guy. So I'm going to say. All right. Jason says on Facebook, hey, Blake, do you think our first game should be a lesser game? Jason, here's what I say. I addressed this earlier. I went in pretty great detail about that. I will end the show by saying this. You are not the hunted. You're the hunter. We'll see you guys tomorrow. Wrap up the week. Y'all have a good one. Peace.